Welcome to Bayside Marine Corporation's Masters Fishing Report for the week of September 18th, 2008. If you hear a little visitor on our set, a little chirping, we believe that to be the spirit of one Frank Mundus, who passed away early this week. Frank, as most of you do know, was the captain of the famous boat called the Cricket, and therefore we have chosen not to evict the spirit of Frank Mundus, who may be chirping on the soundtrack tonight. Everybody, one little moment of silence for Frank Mundus. Again, the character Quint was based on this man. He was certainly a giant in shark fishing, so how about one quick moment of silence for Frank Mundus. We heard that, Frank. To begin this week's show, let's start off with Garrett Lascola from Goose Hummock Shops down in Orleans. First of all, Garrett, tell me about any bass fishing going on down there.
Any what fishing?
Any striper fishing. How's that been?
It's been decent up towards Race Point, but other than that, it's been kind of slow. I know up towards the race, there's been a lot of bait up that way, a lot of little peanut bunker and stuff like that, and pogies up in the Pamment and whatnot. But down towards our way, it's kind of barren. I heard there was some good bass off of Monomoy today, but that's the first report I've heard all week.
Yeah.
Plenty of bluefish, though.
Got you fine. Bluefish running tuna bait size, or are they the sporting size?
Both, actually. There's a lot of little, perfect 3 to 5 pound bluefish for live line to tuna, and then lots of big bruisers, too. So enough bluefish to go around for all, I guess. I get you. Okay. What about cod fishing out east? Anything going on there? I haven't heard anything too much about that. All I've heard out east pretty much has just been, tuna. And how's that bite been? It's been decent. It's been off and on. I know guys were doing really well with ballyhoos the other day. And, the same deal as before, black squid rigs and pink squid rigs and all that other stuff. Now, I understand some trucks have picked some fish up in Harwich Port. You know where those things are coming from? Actually, I heard a lot of fish are over towards the ledge, actually. A couple of buddies of mine have hooked up, actually slow trolling bluefish, and, it seems like that's what the game plan is. So a short run. There's some big fish in tight then. Yep. Okay, good stuff. Well, Garrett, thank you very much for the report. We'll be calling you next week. All right, buddy. Okay, take it easy, Garrett. Yeah. Bye-bye. Up next on the Bayside Marine Masters Fishing Report, we have Pete Belson's report from out of Scituate, Massachusetts. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, John. Good to be here.
Great. First of all, any news at the shop? Any tournaments up there that you know anybody might have won?
Well, some old buzzard from Duxbury took the latest bass tournament out of Scituate. I think he had a fish in the mid-30s. Nice fish.
Oh, really? Old buzzard, huh? Thank you.
No, it was a good fish, John. Good job done. It was a great tournament, another charity tournament in Scituate for a couple of young fellas that had an accident. A good thing for the town.
You bet, and I'm happy to support that as best I can too, Pete. So, I thank you for your support of it. That's one of the things when you deal with Pete Belson, that he's all about community, and he's supported this tournament for its entire life. Basically, gives a shop up for it. And Pete, big thank you to you for holding that tournament.
Got to give back to the community. I've been around 12 years now, and not only Scituate, but the surrounding communities have really helped me actually make it in the tackle business, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to say you have to, but it's another thing to always do, and you always do, so thank you, Peter. Okay, we're going to get to fishing. You had bluefish crashing out front last week. Is that still continuing?
Yeah, we had bluefish and bass this last weekend. Late in the week, Thursday, Friday, we had some fish up in the 15, 17-pound range, right up on the beach, tail slapping. This was happening up along Minets, inside Sunken Ledge, over to Egypt Beach, Sand Hills. So it was some good. Even now the shore guys are getting into it. So the fall feed is on, John.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff. We have the tournament coming up, which used to be the event you sponsored, and some fish coming from the northwest corner, southwest corner, middle bank, all over. Have you got any pattern on where the bigger ones are coming from?
No, it's no rhyme or reason to it at all. I hear fish, up towards 70 inches up the northwest corner, and the guy had one the other day on the southwest corner, so there's no way of knowing. We actually had our first shot of fish today at Stone Ledge. Local got a call from a lobsterman. There was some about 125-pound fish crashing on some spiked mackerel, so he says, out by Stone Ledge today. Actually just happened about 6 to 8 hours ago, so keep an eye on that.
No, that's happened a couple times this past week. And remember, of course, it happened right on cue when I said it wouldn't happen. But it did, it was also off of Green Harbor, Peter, so it's a legitimate report that is going on. They're cruising back and forth through there, and I also got a report from one of the spotter planes that some of the schools, 500-700 fish rounded the Point of Providence down a little bit, and we're a little bit west of there breaking. So it might be on. With all the tinkers around, that's going to bail out the guys who want to go casting inside.
Good, excellent. Second half of September is looking good.
You bet it is. Well, we got that out of the way. You mentioned the codfish guys. Has that increased in activity, or is
the cod fishing isn't too bad at all. I know the cod fishing is really good. I've talked to some guys out east of the bank, but even inshore here, 70 to 100 feet of water, this codfish catchable, 5 to 7, 8 pounds. Mm-hmm. Guys are jigging and doing pretty good. Yeah,
good stuff. Well, Peter, we're going to let you go. Thanks again for the great report, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, John. I will talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And now, the MFR tip of the week. Being here in Duxbury Bay and being around the pogies so much, I find that I'm getting a lot of questions about how to keep pogies alive, either over the road or overnight. And I think it's a good time for this week's Bayside Marine Tip of the Week to be about transporting pogies and keeping them alive. Now, a couple issues you got to think about with pogies. They're very demanding oxygen-wise. If you want to transport them by truck, best system, very large cooler, very large round container, 20 gallons of water, and some aeration. That'll get you 30 minutes down the road and get them into your live well, a live car in good shape. Now, live cars. The rounded mesh ones with the small mesh seem to work better. Some of the hard mesh ones with a bigger, say, 3/4 inch or 1 inch square mesh, they seem to tire out. They get their head stuck in there, they little tire out. Look for something 1/2 inch mesh or smaller for your live car. Generally, do not expect, until we get some at least a lot colder water here, do not expect to keep them for more than 24 to 36 hours. That's about the maximum. I find 24 hours is it, especially if you took them fishing in the boat or something like that one day, bring them back, put them in a live car. You're probably not going to have many, at least not in fishable shape the next morning. I'm Captain John Booner, and that's your Bayside Marine Tip of the Week. Up next in the Bayside Marine Massachusetts Fishing Report, we have the always enthusiastic Captain Vin McCarthy from Seeker Sport Fishing. Welcome, Vinny.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
Good. How about giving me a synopsis of what's going on offshore?
Well, we've been waiting a long time for that warm water, and we got one of our first good scouts going after it. Actually, first thing tomorrow morning. The bite that was been on down at the dip in that area, it's still pretty fractured. And, you've been listening to me now for several weeks telling you about this big slug of warm water that's coming in. Well, it's finally in range of hydro, and I've got a very, very dear friend. In fact, I should be on, if I was a good man, I'd be on his boat with him tomorrow morning. But they're leaving early tomorrow morning, and we should get a good report back on that. But that water is coming in. The headboats have been down in Atlantis Canyon. I know that the Helen H has been down there. A couple of the other headboats have been there. And they've been reporting, some not a great yellowfin bite, not a good albie bite, but they're catching fish. Mm-hmm. So it's starting to come on.
I get you fine. Now, are they doing mostly chunking, or are they trolling during the day? They do the same things on those, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. They troll during the day, unless they get some sort of a biblical chunk bite going. But right now, the night bite's always been off. It's been off all year just a little bit, and it really hasn't fired up yet.
Mm-hmm. Got you fine. Okay, what about on the bay side? Some of the, where you are down in Buzzards Bay, perhaps you get some info on the bay side, some of that squirt and ledge stuff, bass fishing, anything going on?
It's starting to come on. I mean, I always used to wait until a little bit later in the year, say, well, the fall run, the migration, but the fact of the matter is, we're seeing a lot of bait drop out of the nurseries right now, and a lot of that bait's going to start getting hammered. It's a good time to be out fishing. Yep,
that's fine. Vinny, thank you very much for the report. May you have a good, safe trip, and we look forward to hearing that report.
Hey, good luck to everybody in the tournament this weekend, too.
Thank you very much, Vin.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Catch them up. Bye-bye.
1156, contact forward, 712. 270, but it's roughly.
Hi, welcome back once again to the Bayside Marine Masters Fishing Report. In honor of the tournament, or because of the tournament this weekend, I thought I'd give a detailed report of what I'm seeing out at Stellwagen. I've made a few trips out there, and I think this will be a help for everybody. You know, basically the situation out there exists. Not zillions of fish out there, but plenty of fish. They're orienting to the edge more than the flats up top. What I found working for me is, you know, cruising the edge, cruising out deep a little bit, quarter, half mile off the bank, and taking a look at the machine, looking for birds, seeing birds out deep a little bit, running over, seeing if the big red marks are there. And that's been working for me. What hasn't worked for me is up on top, mainly fishing with bait, but it seems like once you get a half mile up on top, the dogfish have been a problem on the calm days. Maybe with a windy day or so, they'll be fishable, they'll stay down low, but you know, it's kind of a tough situation up on top. I'd probably keep myself close to the edge somewhere. Now, there are big fish coming from, you know, fish that we want for this tournament, 65, 67 inches, up to 70 inches, coming from both corners. And probably there's some in between, too. So I think the person who, you know, does damage in this contest is one who looks, finds, and catches. I think any one of those aspects missing from your plan, and you're not going to be the winner. Now, as far as the local stuff here from the canal up to the shoreline, there are bass orienting to the shoreline. We've had a couple weeks where it's blown northeast, and some good bass, too. Nice big ones. I've seen our producer here and director, Mark, I've seen him pulling some 35-pounders, so you know they got to be thick. Pogies still in Duxbury very strong, but some of our pogies have moved over to Plymouth Harbor. So still, you know, decent schools of pogies in the bay, but they've divided themselves, and even some in Kingston, too, between Plymouth, Kingston, and Duxbury, so they're not quite as stacked up here as they were, but still here in good catchable numbers. As far as the bluefish are concerned, High Pines Ledge, Farnham Rock, Manamet Point, just off the Mary Ann's, all the way down the canal, get out in 60, 70 feet of water and troll anything, and you're going to catch them. Some of them up to about 12, 13 pounds, good fishing. There are cod on the ledges down here, a little bit more, I think, up toward Pete Belson's area up in Scituate, but there are keeper cod on these ledges out here and on all the hard bottom. They'll be moving in a little shallower off the Gurnet and off High Pines within the week or so. I'm Captain John Booner, and that's your South Shore Stellwagen Bank Report. Thank you for watching this week's edition of the Bayside Marine Masters Fishing Report. I'd like to thank Garrett Lascola from Goose Hummock Shops, Pete Belson from Belson's Bait and Tackle, and Vinnie McCarthy from Seeker Sport Fishing for their reports. Also, as a reminder, you know, check this tournament out this week. This should be a lot of fun. I hope this event works well for everybody, and best of luck in the tournament. This is Captain John Booner signing off for MFR. We'll see you next week.